All right, back again with another video just because I feel like it. Today's video is not so much about the gear as it is about the vinyl. However, I will draw some attention to these amazing VSV A1 Pro amps running in monoblock configuration with my Source Point 10 speakers and an SVS SB4000 subwoofer. Yeah, this combination works, y'all, and it works in spades when you have your room set up and you have your listening front end on point. Well, that's what I have, and that's what I'm enjoying. However, the actual focus of this video today is just to go through some of the records, the LPs that I enjoy, that I also use as testing records. And no better place to start than a record from Milt Jackson called Feelings, Milt Jackson and Strings. If you draw your attention to who's on here, we have Hubert Laws, Tommy Flanagan, Ray Brown, and Jimmy Smith. Yeah, those who know, know. If you don't know, now you know. If you can find this album digitally, listen to it. It's gonna sound amazing. If you can find it on LP, if it's in good condition, buy it and play it in your system. This is a reference album for me because the recording is done in such a way. For those that don't know, Milt Jackson plays the vibrophone, and they recorded it in such a way that on the left side of the vibes is recorded here. There's a mic there, and then it will pan over to the right, which also has its own dedicated mic in the recording, and it has a lovely soundscape from right to left as he pans up and down the vibes. It's a very full and very rich album as well in terms of the audio engineer that put things together did a fantastic job. This album, I want to say, is recorded in 1976. It's a long time ago. This is this is my age. Not to give away my age, but you can figure that out, right? So, knocking on 50 years old. This actual pressing, I don't know when this was done. I bought this used. I bought it from a store called Sonic in downtown Toronto. And yeah, I bought it used, obviously. And it came home and I cleaned it ultrasonically. And that shit came out like glass. Okay, so yeah, this is an audiophile recording for me. It is a test disc as well as just an enjoyable LP to listen to. And I gotta say, with my current front end, running these A1 Pros, yeah, this shit works. It is full, it is dynamic, it's beautiful. Moving on, some other LPs that I actually have in my top shelf, essentially. Obviously, I'm not going to be playing these albums for you just to avoid any issues online because, you know, people be tripping. But aside from that, yeah, the Dave Pike Quartet. I actually heard this first on Tidal and obviously digital. Just wanted to look to see if I could find it on vinyl because there is something to be said about tactility. Being able to touch a thing, being able to reproduce audio that is fully tactile. So you have your needle going into the groove on on vinyl. And being able to reproduce that in some type of sonic fidelity there's something to be said for that, and it's enjoyable. It's like people that like cooking. They like to touch the things that's going into making the thing that they're making. Audio-wise, yeah, absolutely. If you can find this on vinyl, this one happens to be 180 grams. Do I think weight makes a difference? Well, I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, really, vinyl is the most susceptible to vibration, and the heavier the disc, the less susceptible it is to vibration. Don't fight physics, y'all. It's basic. So, yeah, if the recording is shit, well, you know, it's not going to sound any better in 180 grams as it is in 90 gram or whatever the other regular discs are recorded at. But yeah, this just happens to be an amazing recording, and it also happens to be available in 180 grams. If you have a system, well, all systems will be susceptible to vibration. So yeah, get a heavier disc if you can and enjoy this. Dave Pike Quartet. Now, in comparison, Dave Pike also, sorry, I should actually mention, is also on Vibes, as is Milt Jackson. However, the difference between the two is that this one is really, really well recorded, but it is not a string quartet. This is straight up jazz. Look who's on this bill here. We have Bill Evans on piano, Herbie Lewis on bass, and Walter Perkins on drums. If you know, you know. Heavy hitters. And this album is absolutely recommended. And if you can find it digitally or vinyl, get it, listen to it, enjoy. Another one that is just fantastic is Gary Burton. Now, if you don't know already, I do love the sound of vibrophone. It buzzes my brain in a certain way, and when it's reproduced on a good system, vibrophones do a thing to my head sack, and I enjoy it. This here, new Vibe Man in town. Absolutely. I also heard this digitally first and ended up finding it on vinyl. Yeah, sure, in 180 grams. That's fine as well. But if you can find a good recording on vinyl or digital, it's going to be amazing anyways. Good remaster. This is just another fantastic rendition of the vibrophone being played at their best. This one here happens to be in 33 and a third. I want to say this is the 2015 pressing, but the recording I want to say was done a long time ago, 1961, 1960. He was born 1943, so he's a little bit older than my parents. But point being, another fantastic vibrophone recording. If you can find this on LP and you want, you know, good test discs to test the fidelity of, you're changing out speakers, you're changing out cables, power cables, amplifiers, anything, front end, you know, preamps or phono stages, it doesn't matter. This is also another amazing album that you can use. I have the plastic on here just because I want to, so go fuck yourself. It's a big problem for you. Anyways, another one. So a cellist. This is more recent here. Vincent Bélanger. I think he's from like Quebec or Montreal. One of those. If not, forgive me. I'm sorry, Vincent. I had the pleasure of meeting him at one of the audio shows here, and he signed this LP for me. It's a double LP. Also, this one is pressed in 45 RPM. Absolute beautiful. This is from 2017 recorded, so this is some new stuff. But this is an absolute beautiful recording. The LP itself is just absolutely gorgeous as well, and he had some really, really good recording space to make this album. You would have to read the fine print to find out exactly where he recorded this. I'm not a musical historian by any stretch, but sonically, this album is absolutely beautiful. It is a solo album. It's cello, so you have the strings that are vibrating. You have just a beautiful recording of solo cello and just master of the cello, Vincent Bélanger. Wonderful individual as well, and he just is able to record beautiful, beautiful cello recordings. You can find him digitally as well on Tidal or Qobuz or whatever you listen to for your high fidelity music. Another reference disc or download, absolute. Going back to the 1960s, Cannonball Adderley, sorry, Miles Davis, Hank Jones, Sam Jones, and Art Blakey. If you know, you know. Again, yep, sure, 180. That's where I found it. I think I bought this off of Amazon. Nice little read up. Here you can get deep into it. This is 1958, guys. 1958, and is recorded with the fidelity that a brand new recorder, audio engineer would be able to produce. This is just a beautifully recorded album. The fact that it's recorded in 1958, so long ago, but is able to still glean the nuances that your system is able to produce is absolutely stunning. You're listening to Miles Davis, you're listening to Hank Jones and Sam Jones and Art Blakey. Find this album, again, digital or vinyl, it doesn't matter. If you like the tactile feel, you like touching and holding things, you like the idea of a needle going into a groove, hell yeah, you get the vinyl. Get it in 180. It makes sense. This one, none of y'all motherfuckers gonna know about, okay? I'm a gamer as well as many other things. But one of the things I do is game, and I like to build PCs, gaming PCs. It's back there. I enjoy that. I'm a geek, I'll admit it, but I'm a sexy motherfucker doing that shit. This album right here, I don't know if any of you guys have played this game, Red Dead Redemption 2. Doesn't matter if it's on the PlayStation, ideally the PlayStation 5 or 5 Pro, or a PC. Absolutely stunning game. But what I didn't know is that they had some serious musicians coming in. We have D'Angelo, for those who know, okay? Daryl Johnson, Daniel Lanios, we have Joseph Mays, we have Daryl Hatcher, okay? These people here, these are musicians, okay, that are able to pull detail and nuance out of the sound that they are producing. Yes, this is an album based off of a game, but my friends, specifically for vinyl, because I understand that bass reproduction in vinyl is a thing. And if you're able to get good bass out of a vinyl pressing, you're on the right track, right? Of course, everything else needs to be on point, but if it is, which this is, and you're able to produce good bass, this is not this is a cappella, or this is just raw, guitar and vocals, or piano and vocals. I don't even know if there's piano in here. But again, the vocals, the production on this album, the cool thing about this is it is it's red. This is kind of nice when you can pull this out and you look at this. Look at that. Come on. Beautiful. 180 grams, nice and heavy. Your needle is going to love it. But the sonics that come out of this album are just amazing. Just amazing. This is an amazing album. Do yourself a favor, find it digitally. Absolutely, listen to it if you can. If you have a vinyl setup, yeah, you buy that. Buy this in 180 grams. I don't think you can find it. It was a limited production. I'm going to be one of the few that actually own this. This is an album for albums, and this is a test disc for test discs. You change something in your vinyl setup and you have this playing, yeah, you're going to hear the differences if there are any. Absolute amazing recording. Larry Carlton, Discovery. This album, this one isn't 180 grams, but it does happen to be a really good recording. My test track from this is what? Minute by Minute. And we know who made that song famous. Larry Carlton is just doing a guitar version of that. But if you heard Michael McDonald do that, absolutely you are in the know. But this album here, the whole album, fantastically recorded. I want to say this is 1987. Good years, boys. Good years. Do you remember 87? Any of you guys? All right. If you don't, well, there's nothing I can do about that. But yeah, 1987. I find that early to late 80s was a golden era of recordings. Doesn't matter if it's vinyl or digital. Well, usually the digital or remastered, but just the original capture of the recordings were just really done well. If they had any budget at all in the 80s, and this is no slouch in terms of audiophilic quality and what it's able to produce. This is some thick bass, some nice punchy guitar. Just absolutely beautiful. This is soulful. This is jazzy. This is just lovely. Yeah, if you can find that, another fantastic album. This one here is another audiophile recording. I find it difficult to say that live recordings are audiophilic until I find a live recording that is done in such a way that it is able to capture both the sonic fidelity of the musicians and the sonic fidelity of the crowd that is listening to the musicians. So this is Paul Desmond Quartet. This was actually shot in my birth year. I want to say this was 1975, which is my birth year. I might be off by a year, but doesn't matter. It was recorded in Toronto, at a club in Toronto back in 1975 or 1976, that time. I don't know if it actually shows here. 1975, there it is. There you go. Right. So November, yeah, so winter time in the city. 1975, Toronto recording. Point being, this is absolutely beautiful. Saxophone, but a full jazz quartet. What I love about this is that there is ambience to the recording. So you're hearing phones ring, you're hearing waitresses bringing drinks to, patrons. You're hearing people, chuckle and have their own private conversations as this Paul Desmond is recording a fantastic set. And the set itself is recorded really, really nicely. It's nice and thick. It's full. Yet you're able to still listen to the ambience of the room at which it's being recorded in. I don't know if anyone can find this. I've never seen it digitally. It might be digital, who knows? But I found this again at Sonic Records, downtown Toronto, many years ago, and it's been a reference album for me because it's motherfucking dope. Yeah, great album. Another album which my buddy gave to me, and I had to confirm it today, FaceTimed him, and he was like, yeah, I gave you that because the guy that gave it to me had these dots to differentiate between different discs. This I am not 100% familiar with in terms of, all the nuances of the sound. However, every time I put it on, the recording is just phenomenal. This is Lincoln Mayorga. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. Volume 3. And distinguished colleagues. Just an amazing studio recording. If you can find that and you're looking for reference material to be able to test the differences between audio components, absolutely highly recommended this album here. I gotta be 100%, I'm a jazz head, I'm a soul head. I love my deep soulful house music. I love some good classic rock. I love some heavy rock. Give me some good guitar solos from the 80s, some saxophone / guitar. Give me that. This is none of that. This is truly, if you can kind of look to see, this is we got brass elements here, got a straight old school mixer, some old, I don't even know what they're talking over there, but a nice light source, and then we have some more recording gear here. This is, someone cared about how they put this together. I don't know the year of this. I want to say early 80s, maybe mid, or maybe even late 70s. Looking at that shirt, I would actually have to say maybe mid to late 70s. Who knows? But anyways, yeah, great album for, again, testing differences sonically. Milt Jackson, Wes Montgomery. Yeah, another Milt Jackson album. Milt Jackson made sure that whoever's recording him is recording him correctly. This is 1961. And we have Wes Montgomery guitar and Milt Jackson on the vibes. We have Jones and Jones. We have the piano and bass there. Cannonball Adderley. We have, who else? Who's on here? All right. Well, okay. So I'm seeing Cannonball Adderley. We have Milt Jackson, and we have Wes Montgomery. This is, early 60s, but the recording on this is so thick, it's so full, it's so pure. Again, you have your vibes and guitar, so it's going to bring out the sonics and fidelity of your system, whatever your system is, what it's composed of. This will bring it out to the max. And what I love is just, it's such an old recording and such a beautiful recording and just good jazz. The New York Jazz Guitar Ensemble, 4-on-6 by 5. Yeah, guys, not many of you guys are going to know about this album. I want to consider myself an elitist for having this album, and I chuckle with that statement. I'm nothing better than any of you, but I do have this album, and many of you don't. If you can find it, even just to listen to, this is a later recording, 1985, still old, but here's a picture of the gentlemen that were taking part in this recording. I don't know a lot of them. We have Bob Ward, Paul Myers, Scott Hardy, Bill Bickford, Peter Leach. We have Steve Alcott and Taro Okamoto. Yeah, these are pretty obscure names in terms of jazz guitaring, unless you are in the know. But this album is super thick, super nice recorded. Of course, the sonic tactile fidelity that you're able to get from a nice recorded guitar. It is here, and there are 5 on display here. Beautiful album. Kevin Eubanks. You guys know Kevin from the lead musician from Jay Leno's show. But if you're even more in the know, Kevin Eubanks has his own albums, many of them from the early to mid 80s, and this is one of them from 1988. Fantastic album. He is able to capture fidelity, bass, mids, highs. The plucks from his strings are so tactile, you're able to feel it. And he loves cats. So, you know, that goes a distance. But point being, well recorded. Kevin Eubanks. If you know, you know. If you don't, now you know. Okay. Stan Getz. João Gilberto. We have also Antonio Carlos Jobim. Guys, come on. I don't need to say too much about this album. You've heard it at least one time in your life if you care at all. On vinyl at 180 grams. This is sounding fantastic on pretty much any system that is set up correctly. I don't need to say too much else about that. Just an absolute Sunday afternoon listen. You have some cold lemonade, a little bit of ice. You want to be spicy? Yeah, you dab some tequila up in there, okay? And you have yourself a nice sipper and you listen to this album and everything's all right. Do I need to say much about this? Miles Davis, Kind of Blue. This is not an audiophilic pressing or anything like that. This is very cheap pressing at 180 grams still. And what? Still sounds amazing. Cannonball Adderley, John Coltrane, Bill Evans, Wynton Kelly, Paul Chambers, Jimmy Cobb. Yeah, thanks. That's a good album. Find this on digital format or on vinyl, and you will be able to discern differences between changes in your system. I don't need to say too much else about Miles Davis recordings because that's just amazing. This, none of y'all motherfuckers gonna have, okay? This is Sam Most, a flautist. Yeah, plays the flute. And actually, the track that I use for my audiophilic testing is the track But Beautiful. Look at this. It is ripped. I bought this used as motherfucker. Look at this dude. Look at him. Look at this guy. Okay? Got his flute loud and proud, baby. Who do we have? We have Sam Most flute and tenor sax, so you can go fuck yourself on that. George Marybus on piano, Patrick Putter Smith on bass, and Will Bradley Jr. on drums. Now, I'm not really familiar with any of these people. However, this recording, and specifically on side A, the first track, But Beautiful. Oh my God. It is just him on the flute, and I guess it's George Marybus on piano. People, just absolutely stunning. The room is recorded, the ambience is recorded, and it is an absolute pleasure to listen to on your sound system. That song, But Beautiful. The rest are great, right? Like, this is a jazz album, baby. It is jazz, jazz, jazz. However, the duo of Sam Most and George Marybus on the first But Beautiful track, yes, my people. Listen to that and enjoy. This is just a quick rundown of some of my audiophile test disc recordings that I use to test my system, but then also I use to show off my system and also just to enjoy. These are fantastic albums that everybody should really own or at least listen to if you have the opportunity. This video has gone on even longer than my last, so who knows how this fares on YouTube, but guess what? It doesn't matter if you're still here. Kudos, cheers. Enjoy your day, your evening, your morning, whatever it is, and I hope everyone's doing well, staying safe, and getting better by the day. Peace, y'all.